Yeah, that's true.
If you're gonna give me money to buy your stuff, let's do it.
The old adage is we
But
buy
I'm
stuff
not
we
gonna
don't
pay interest
need.
on it.
We buy stuff we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like.
That's
And-
correct.
and- That's correct. And the thing about they don't like you
And they don't like you. And
Right.
don't care.
and don't care.
How's the leadership in our family right now? How's the leadership? Do we have someone that we could turn to? There used to be a patriarch in the family
Not
or a
anymore.
matriarch in the family that we could go to and say, what we gonna do, Big Mama?
That left with my grandparents.
Some of them died.
Yeah,
Some
mine
of them
left with
died.
Because my mother died
Did,
early.
And did they develop the next, the
No.
heir apparent?
No.
Was the heir apparent developed?
Nope.
And if not, then we got an issue.
Yeah.
Because we're not developing little leaders. Baxter said, author, he said, if we treated our plants the way we treat our children, we'd all live in jungles because we let them grow wild. And that's a sad reality. But we've got to start taking our children and developing them into what we want in society, because everything in the community came from somebody's house. Every doctor, every lawyer, every liar, every thief.
Yep.
Everything came out of somebody's house, right?
How do you get that back? Like, since I've known all of you, Barack the longest.
I'm sorry, bro.
It's been a struggle.
I understand.
Pray for him. It's since I've known you, I've known a lot about you, a lot about all of you individually. You know, I know when to approach, when not to approach. You know, when to talk, when not to talk. You kind of learn the people that you're around, and you kind of learn what triggers them, what kind of mood they're in, blah blah blah, everything. We talk about a lot of things, but the most important things we don't, and that's why we're having this discussion today. Like, we can sit around and talk about old school cars all day. We can sit around and talk about stuff that don't mean nothing to nobody.
Right.
But when it comes to finances,
Stay out my
health,
business, man. Stay out my
exactly,
business.
finances, health.
Why you looking at my pocket?
Exactly. Some people,
I
and
care
I do
because I care
understand,
about your body.
and I do understand, because some people look
Or
at it
ask
like,
for advice.
yeah, because some people look at it like, wow. I'll use Barack as an example. Barack is younger than I am. Why would I want to tell him I'm not where he is? And that's how people think about it. No, you learn from everybody.
It's better.
You learn, I don't care what age, every day, I don't care how old
Ever
or
learning.
young, you're going to learn something from someone. And if you don't have that mindset, you're going to continue to make the same bad choices that you make over and over. And I'm glad to have friends like y'all, because this dude right here is the rudest friend I ever had. Why the hell would you do that? What made you think that made sense? And you think about it like...
That's not rude, that's deliberate.
No, and I tell them all the time, like, if you want to tongue lash it in the truth, you call that dude at 8 o'clock in the morning and say, hey man, this is what I did. What you think about it?
What happened in you that brought about the development that put you where you are at your age?
So I got to see my parents struggle. Right. My father worked a lot. Both of my parents worked a lot. They had a lot of debt, and they struggled. And then as they got older, it took them a long time to get to where they are now. I didn't want to do that, and I struggled. Right. I had a lot of debt when I first moved out. Man, I had 5, 6, 7 credit cards. When I bought my first house, man, the interest rate was ridiculous. The PMI, my PMI on my first house was $600 in PMI. Wow. I was paying $1,900 a month for a house that should have been $1,000 a month.
Right.
insane. I paid more for my cars. I paid more for everything. But nobody could tell it. I looked good.
On the outside.
Hustling backwards.
Yeah.
Hustling backwards.
Wow.
Working every day and having nothing. Making,
Hustling backwards. That's two.
Hustling
That's
backwards.
two nuggets he's
you're
throwing.
making, you know, at the time it was good money, right? But we didn't have no money in the bank.
Bags with holes.
Nothing.
Putting it in the
We ain't
bags
had
with
nothing.
holes in it. Yeah.
Nothing. Something bad happened, we got to go to the parents and borrow money. Thank God they was there to do it, to help us. And I said, I'm not doing that anymore.
Isn't that interesting? Did you hear what he said? I saw my parents and I watched them struggle. I didn't want to do that.
Well,
And
now
then I
you
had to
borrow-
go
you
back
back
and
and
borrow
borrow
from my
money from
parents.
Correct.
That was struggling already.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, they had gotten better though.
Right, but
They had finally
And that
figured
goes
it
back
out.
to loyalty though. They didn't turn their back. You didn't
Nope.
turn your back. We still family.
Nope. And I had to, anytime I ever borrow money from them, I always paid it back. Always paid it back. No matter what I had to do to pay it back, I paid it back. And then I was like, well, we got to do some things differently.
How
So
did
I
you come out of
started,
that? How
I
did
started
you-
reading books,
Oh.
right? Because the information is out there. And so I started reading books. Then we went on a plan. Then we got out of debt, right? We got out of debt finally. We got rid of all of our credit cards, and we had zero debt. So when I got ready to buy my second house, we actually made money on the first house. That was able to help. Didn't have to pay that ridiculous PMI anymore. Now we're starting to see some light, right? Because we're like, oh, this is all right.
It's a little bit of living.
Right, then we started having money in the bank. Well, then we wasn't doing nothing with the money in the bank. And I was like, okay, well, this doesn't make any sense. Like, we keep hearing people talking about how you got to make your money work for you, make your money work for you. So then I started reading books on how on investing. And I started slowly putting money into different places, whether it be a high yield savings account or the stock market, and just trying to make the money do something rather than just letting it sit there. And then I had no credit cards at that time. Then somebody else told me, a coworker was like, man, I use these credit cards for points. I was like, no, I'm not going back to credit cards no more. Because you have a
'Cause now you
false sense of
feel
security
yeah.
without the knowledge.
Yeah.
You think that, well, I've got, $40,000 worth of credit cards here. I'm good. Well, you got to pay that money back. And those credit cards are like casinos.
Interest.
They don't exist for you to make money. They exist for
They have
whoever the
a plan.
credit card company is to make money.
Exactly.
There is no such thing as free.
Right.
Exactly.
Nothing is free. So you use the credit cards to get the points that help, because they're gonna give it to you. They want you to use it. They're hoping that you make the mistake of
And not
having to
pay
pay
it.
interest
Yes.
on it. So I use the credit cards for the points. So I'm
Yeah.
getting to travel for free. I'm getting that, and I just pay it off every
Pay
day.
it
Just
off,
pay it
yeah.
off, and I don't have to worry about
You know
that
what's
stuff
insane?
anymore.
My mom complained a few years ago that Sears and J.C. Penney cut her credit cards off after all those years because she wasn't using them.
Yeah, they will.
They
Yeah,
will
because
use-
they not making any money off
That's
of it.
what I'm just saying.
Yeah,
That piggyback off of what Brock just said.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear all these books that say don't have credit, don't have credit. I don't agree with that. I think that the credit allows you to do things that you may need to use credit for if you want to get things quicker. But
Yeah.
if your credit is good, you don't get destroyed on the interest rate.
That's
You're
true.
paying 1%, 2%, and you have to decide if that is worth it to you for that interest to pay it.
Gotcha.
And it may be. Sometimes it's good to just wait, which a lot of people don't want to do. And I think to me that's what you have to teach people is that credit gives you that false sense of security and people want to ball out. I'm like, what are you buying that for? Who's
So
it for?
what do you think
it
is
for
the
you or for
worst-
somebody else?
Yeah,
What
what's
do
the
you think is
what's the input on
What do you
that?
think is the worst thing to buy with credit cards? Food.
I would say any necessity, you need to have enough money to buy it. You need to have enough money to buy that because you don't want to pay interest on groceries. Don't
Yeah,
pay
that's
interest
what
on
I'm saying.
groceries.
It doesn't.
And
Don't
gas.
pay
I see
interest
people
on
doing
clothing.
gas. I see
And
people
clothing.
doing
Don't pay
gas.
interest
Just
on
on
clothing.
clothing.
People use credit cards for gas.
Jewelry.
Yeah.
Don't pay interest on
Don't
jewelry.
wear
You
all
don't
your
need
money.
jewelry.
Don't wear,
Why are you paying
don't wear all
interest
your
on
money on your back.
Right.
Don't wear all
Right,
your money
who's
on
it
your
for?
back. Yeah.
Now, if you can get some no interest going, hey, I'm all for using somebody else's money.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. But your credit got to be good to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going to give me money to buy your stuff, let's do it.
The old adage is we
But
buy
I'm
stuff
not
we
going to
don't
pay interest
need.
on it.
We buy stuff we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like.
That's
And-
correct.
and- and-
That's correct.
And the thing about they don't like you
And they don't like you. And
Right.
they don't care.
and don't care.